Welcome to the first post-game show of the season as we get ready for the playoffs here in the Battle of the Border Fall League. I'm joined with some of our intern analysts here. We're going to help break down the playoffs, break down our favorite teams, and go division by division here. My name's Joey, and let's get started with the girls' 5th and 6th grade division. So, guys, what we're going to do here is kind of pick some of the teams that we like as we get ready for the playoffs and pick who we think is even going to win if you guys are bold enough to do that. And so it is single elimination as we get ready for the playoffs, and every team did qualify, did make it in our playoffs for our fall league. Some are not going to be there, and that's okay. So we do have the list in front of us, and you guys will see that list throughout the week. We are recording this on Tuesday night, so if some schedule things change or some other things change, we apologize for that. But guys, let's start with the girls' 5th and 6th grade division. So we have our list of teams here. We'll go to Khalise first on this one. And so again, kind of what we're doing here division by division, each division will have a winner after the weekend. So we're looking at, I believe games start on Thursday actually. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By Sunday, we'll be crowning some champions of these divisions. So for the girls' 5th and 6th grade, Khalise, what team stands out to you from this season that you've seen, and what are you looking for as we get ready for the playoffs between these teams?
A team that really stands out for me, Joey, is Springfield Energy, girls 5th and 6th national. They have a key player, Zion Wallace. She's a beast on the boards, gets a lot of rebounds, offensive and defensive boards and blocks too. So she's a beast, and I think she's a key player for her team.
Yeah, for sure. And so we're going to kind of lean on Ryan a little bit here. So he's been doing those power rankings you guys have been seeing online. And so, Ryan, was that team in our power rankings? I mean, I know the most recent ones aren't even out yet. And really, they don't matter as we get ready for the playoffs, to be totally honest. Because again, if anybody beats anybody, then you could have been the top of the league all season. And, if you don't get the job done in the playoffs, then congratulations, right? But, Ryan, so that team, where did they rank this season, especially doing those rankings for us? And, what do you think about that team, and are they the favorite to kind of win that division?
I definitely say they're the favorite. They every week seem to come out really strong, undefeated on the season at 9-0, constantly just having dominant performance after dominant performance against all types of teams. I've seen they've had some close calls too, but they always seem to etch it out and just get it done when they need to. And I agree with what Khalise was saying. Zion has shown a lot of good stuff this year. Even seen her play with the boys team a couple of times. And yeah, she's done great things.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm sure we've seen a lot of highlights of her as well, from our time, getting those highlights courtside throughout the fall season. So that's awesome. And so, yeah, we're going to come back around at the end. So don't think we're kind of going a little fast, but we're going to hit each division. And then we're going to let each of our 5 analysts name the team from any division that they're most looking forward to seeing, even if it's not the team that's maybe the favorite or the team we already talked about, but we'll kind of try to cover as many teams as we can, kind of wrap it up by getting all of their favorites. So let's go to the 5th and 6th grade boys division. We see there are 7 teams here competing this weekend, trying to take home that title. And so we'll open it up to anybody else who's seen some of these teams. But does anybody have a team from the boys' 5th and 6th grade division that they're keeping an eye on this weekend? Anybody that's seen a team want to jump in? Yeah, Khalise, you can kick it off. Go right ahead.
The Mass Panthers, 5th, 6th grade boys. Those kids are hustlers. They're fast with the ball. They push the ball up very well. And good team chemistry. You could tell those kids have been playing since they were younger. So I love watching those kids play. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And we can kind of stay on this for a second. Is there any team, and I'll let Khalise answer this first, and I'll put her on the spot, and then we'll see if anybody else has any answers to this. But is there any team that you think will match up well with them, or that you've seen, if not, it's okay, but that you've seen this season that can compete with them in a one and done playoff scenario?
Yeah, I see that team, Mass Panthers or HYA Wolfpack. Those are good matchups against the SEC Tigers. So those 2 teams, I could feel like would be a good matchup for them.
All right, awesome. And so we're gonna attack the 7th and 8th grade girls division in a second. First, we're gonna do a little read here for you guys. So this post-game show is brought to you guys by Legacy Sports Media. So what we're doing is enhancing leagues just like this fall Battle for the Border League. And we're doing box scores and stats and highlights and post-game interviews, which you guys have seen on the Facebook page. So if you guys know any other leagues that are looking for things like this, like stats and more post-game shows and more of you guys breaking down these teams, let your league commissioner to contact us so we can help other players build their legacy. So guys, let's get into the 7th and 8th grade division. Give me 1 second on that. We'll stay with the girls. So we have national and American here. We can get to Ryan first if nobody else jumps in, but what team in this division? I mean, between the girls 7th and 8th grade, I'll do math really quick. We're looking at 12 teams, it looks like, all battling it out this weekend. So that's a lot of basketball between those teams. But Ryan, yeah, let's go to Ryan first, and then Troy. Is Troy getting in? Head nod? Maybe not?
Yeah, I can get
All
in.
right, cool. I'm putting Troy on the spot. Girls 7th and 8th grade. Troy, what team stands out to you, and who do you think is the favorite?
I would say the team that stands out to me is the Springfield Ballers, 7th to 8th grade girls team. They're just a gritty team. Those girls, they'll lay out for any loose ball. They're going to grab the rebounds, and they have a super explosive backcourt. Those two girls, they don't care about contact, and they always want to get a foul drawn. They're always at the free throw line. So I'm excited to see them play.
I love it. And again, I told you we're gonna lean on Ryan. So Ryan, at least for this division, we got to come up with some fancy name for Ryan. Like power ranking master doesn't have a good ring to it. But what teams, if there was more than one, have you seen in our rankings from this one? And I believe one of these, I could be totally wrong, but I'm going to take a shot. One of these teams is undefeated, right?
Yeah, the SECC Tigers with Coach Baker are undefeated. I think I caught them play once this year, and it was a really good game. I remember girls pulling up from real deep, like the blue line, hitting it easy, like just really like legitimate looking basketball, like good basketball, smart plays. Like they have a really quality team there. Another team I'd like to mention is Northampton. I've seen them have a lot of good games. I've seen a couple games with them. I know they have this one girl down low, gets a lot of offensive rebounds, gets to the line a lot, and she's a force to be reckoned with. So those are two teams that I really feel have a good chance to win it all for this division.
Awesome. And as we talk about the 7th and 8th grade girls, let's get over to the 7th and 8th grade boys division. So there's a lot more teams in this one. Over 12 to 15 teams, if not more, between our two boys divisions here, national and American, that'll be battling it out again this weekend, at the court at the South End Community Center, trying to take home the title. Anybody just wants to raise their hand because they can't really see you guys anyway, but what team in this list for the 7th and 8th grade boys are you guys looking on, and who do you guys have as the favorite in this one? Brian first. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Sam Goody Aces as the favorite for this division. I know I caught one of their games, and they were just intense, like high energy the whole entire time. I think they just caused so many turnovers. Like, remember this one kid kept coming in on the traps, getting steals, setting up his teammates, or just getting it all the way to the lane by himself. And they look like a really dominant team. I know they have a lot of wins, like crazy 50-point, 60-point wins this year, even that. Like, I think they're really the powerhouse of this division.
That's awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Khalise. Perfect.
I know they're undefeated, and I watch a lot of their players. They're a very consistent team. I feel like they're not really off when they are off, they fix it up. So I agree with Ryan.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put, speaking of that made me think of your article, Khalise. So we can touch on that in a second. And I know it's a high school division, with Coach Torres, but consistency, I'm sure, is a key for a lot of these teams. And I'm putting you guys on the spot later about that as well. So not only am I going to have you guys mention a team you like, and we'll go down the row, but I think I'm going to have you guys also touch on like what's the most important part, or what's the most important thing that a team, does on the court that you think has the biggest impact on them winning, right? So consistency could totally be one of those things, if it's their, full court press, or if it's their defense, or, but I'm putting you guys on the spot for that too, and you guys can start brainstorming. But awesome. And so that is our 7th and 8th grade boys, and we already touched on the girls. So let's get over to the high school. Yeah, the high school division. And so again, we'll stay with the boys, the high school national and American. We can see if anyone has anything on this, but another one of our divisions. Sure, we'll go to Ayshah first, and then Khalise second. But yeah, I mean, what team in this division? Now we're in high school, so now we're in the big dogs, right? But which team in this boys division do you like? Yeah, Ayshah, go right ahead. Yep.
I would say the PFSJ team. They showed like really strong back to back, like scoring. They also did lots of like dunks too, and they just showed like really strong. Like they catched up towards the end of the game, and like really just showed like really good teamwork.
Yeah, and so that will to win and kind of keeping that competitive nature throughout is definitely going to be big, especially when one game, right, can end your season. So that's going to be huge. Khalise?
I would say Suffield for the boys. I feel like they have one key player that he helps their team out a lot. And I feel like they work together since they've been playing on high school together. They just work really well together, pass the ball around, and they're not selfish at all.
Awesome. And so we'll jump right on over and then we'll let you guys jump in again. So this is great. Girls high school division. So again, I think over 12 teams between these two, national and American. We can even, we'll get Ryan back in, and then if anyone else wants to raise their hand, we'll let you guys add to it. But for the girls high school division, Ryan, I know each team has had, each division, has had a team in our power rankings, trying to get the leader from each one, as the season has gone on. But as we look at the girls high school division, what team or teams have you had your eye on as we've tried to rank the best 10 throughout all the divisions? What team from the girls high school one stands out?
Yeah, I'd say the one that stands out the most to me would be Suffield Academy. I've caught a good amount of their games this year. I've probably seen like 3 or 4 of them, and every time they show out. They're great at pushing the ball in transition and forcing turnovers. And this one girl they have gets in front of everyone, gets a bucket almost every time, just straight speed, getting to the other side. But also, I noticed last game, I forget who they were playing, but the other team like prevented them from doing that much. And it kind of, you saw them like stall for a little bit, but then they still did a great job of setting up half court sets, getting plays run and doing what they had to do to get buckets in other ways. So they showed me that they can do it multiple ways and that they're definitely the top team in this division.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge point, right? So whether it's basketball, any sport, high school, 5th grade, when a team, gets their first option taken away, right, or what they've done so well and so easily throughout the season, right, when that's not there, you're going to see them stall a little bit. But then whatever they do after that, I think says a lot about that team. So exactly
Sure.
right. Let's get into that last division before we kind of get everybody in here and talk about some other teams. But we have our AAU division. So the boys, anybody have a team in this division that they've been keeping an eye on and that they want to talk about? We can go to Khalise first and then Cameron. Perfect. Yeah, if that's all right. So Khalise, AAU division, who's the favorite? Who do you got?
I'm gonna go TCB, the core basketball club. Torres. I feel like his team works very good together, and if they're having an off shooting night, they could drive the ball, and if teams are trapping them, they find each other. I feel like those kids play really good together, and when they play TCB, the core basketball Gorman, it's always a good matchup with the two court teams.
Yeah, for sure. And so that leads us again. We'll tease the article, right? More on that story for sure, which is awesome. It's a really good read. So keep an eye out for that. Cameron, which team in this division, the AAU division, are you looking at?
Yeah, so I was just thinking about what Khalise was saying. The TCBC clubs, the court teams, they've actually been really good in the games that I've seen, and from what I've seen, it's been the games have really been intense more in the first half, and then halftime they're down a little bit, maybe say 5-10 points, and then they rally together. They not only tie the game, but then they pull away in the second half. So I think that's really good for them, a unique strategy, how they're able to come together at that halftime, even though it's only a couple minutes, the break there, and they're really able to get together, figure things out, and then kind of move ahead and into the rest of the game. And then they increase the lead. I've seen there's definitely a lot of steals that happen in their games, and it's very intense, and they react quickly. And then also they sometimes tend to rely on the 3-point as well. And then I know next up, there's several teams for next up basketball. And from what I've noticed over the course of the regular season, a lot of their games tend to be fairly intense atmosphere, as far as very upbeat, very going, the crowd's very involved. And, so it makes for a very exciting game, not only for the players, but even for us watching the game. And doing our highlights and whatnot. It makes for good highlights. So they're definitely good as well.
For sure. And so, yeah, let's go down the list. We're going to get back to Troy first, but here's this segment. You can talk about a team that we've already touched on. You can pick any team you want, but what team that you've seen this season, what team you're most, looking forward to watching in the playoffs, and any analysis on that. So I'm putting Troy on the spot. He was warned, so he's not really just fully on the spot, but he was warned about this. But Troy, what team from any division, any of our 7 divisions, stands out to you? You had the most fun watching this season and could do some damage come playoff time.
I'm going to go with the Chicopee girls high school team. I got a couple opportunities to watch them play, and they move the ball around faster than I've seen. At this level in high school, most of the girls teams are running zones. And how do you be a zone? You got to pass the ball faster than they can rotate. And these girls have it down to a science. So I think that they're going to be a threat come playoff time because they're a very unselfish team.
Are they going to win that division?
There's a possibility.
That's right. We're making predictions, damn it. All right, let's go to Ayshah. We'll let these guys go first. So any team, and then the rest of you guys, we'll kind of see if you guys can pick a different team. So we're looking for one team from each of you guys. It could be a team we already talked about. What team, are you most looking at?
So,
yeah. Khalise can go right here. All good. Go ahead.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I was agreeing with Ryan earlier when you talk about the 7th and 8th grade girls national SECC Tigers Bakers team. I was talking to him one time and he told me that he had these girls since they were in 4th and 3rd grade, and you could just obviously see that. One thing though, I think the thing that's stopping them from being such a good team, because they are undefeated, is when they play good teams, it's such a great game, but then when they play teams lower than them, they swoop down to their level. And I feel like if they worked on that, they would be an amazing, even more amazing team than they are. Communication is definitely a key for them, but they're also so young girls, so they definitely have things to improve on, but they're doing so well at the age they are at.
Yeah, and playing down to your competition, right, in a single elimination playoff is where it gets scary, right? When you're trying to figure out who's going to win, and we go back to that consistency piece, right? That is hand in hand when you're talking about those two things, about being consistent and not playing to the level of your opponent. Anyone else who hasn't gone yet want to jump in? Ayshah, yep, go ahead, Ayshah.
Would also say Khalise said in the beginning, Zion Wallace from the Springfield Energy. She shows really good hard work, and she's always constantly trying to improve herself. No matter the type of basketball skills she's trying to work on, I always see her trying to improve it for the next game. And she's also trying to expand her basketball skills to the boys level as well. So she has really good expertise in levels.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to her. Ryan and Cameron. Who's up?
Yeah, so the team definitely to watch, I would say, is, I believe it's SMSA or it's SECC. So there's one of those teams on the ladies' side. One of the coaches, he's a very experienced, it seems from what I could tell, he's in the high school, coaches in the high school system a lot, and he seems very experienced in what he does. And I remember one game in particular, one of his athletes potentially may or may not have had a minor injury situation, and he brought her into the side. She came over to the sidelines. They had a little brief chat, and then he was just, from what I overheard, he was just providing some advice as far as you could put ice on it and make it better, but then you may not be able to play the rest of the game. And then they were kind of discussing the protocol as far as maybe getting back into the game and maybe just taking some time, relaxing on the bench, and then heading back into the game. So it'd definitely be interesting to see, as we head into the playoff season, that strategy as far as coaching like that, and more of the coaching, not only the intensity of the coaching, the plays in the game, but also stepping back to the personal side and being more relatable with the athletes and taking a step back from the coaching aspect to see how that fares as the playoffs get underway here. is definitely going to be interesting. But it's definitely a
for
good
sure.
strategy because he's definitely taking the time to recognize not only the basketball as an important, but also the health of the athletes as they head into the upcoming winter season as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, something to keep an eye on. Ryan, you got the whole list in front of you. We know that. We need a fancy name. We need a title. But yeah, what team, or if you have two quick ones, I know I'm sure there's, what did we say, 7 undefeated teams, 6 undefeated teams across all the divisions. So yeah, what teams stand out to you?
This team actually that I'm gonna mention has 1 loss on the year. I was at the game, but it's Windsor Locks boys high school team. They're a very fun team to watch. Fast paced. They got good play from their guards, very explosive guards. And they have a big man who maybe he's the best passer I've seen in the whole league. Similar to Jokic, the way that he'll find people, I've seen him throwing no looks, like all the way swings to the corner, skip passes. Like they're a very fun team, and their 1 loss came against Suffield. They were up at half, but then second half they were kind of shaky, and Suffield came back. So I'd be interested to see how they can fare against teams such as Suffield, or if they end up playing someone like Putnam, who's been the top team in the power rankings since I started doing them, because due to their dominant play that I've seen from them. So Windsor Locks is definitely a team I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, love it. And so we touched on a lot of the different teams, especially those in the rankings. I'm sure we touched on a lot of them on that list. And so instead of going down the list, does anybody have, I know Khalise touched on, consistency. Is there anything that stands out while we kind of touch on the topic really quick before we get out of here about what teams have to do come playoff time, or what you think is really important for a team? I mean, Cameron touched on the coaching, right? And how that's going to play a huge role come playoff time. Is there anything in addition to that stands out to you guys as far as like style, or something you'd be watching across all the teams that you think will make a huge difference this weekend?
Yeah, I think a main thing that you always got to see in playoff basketball is just you got to just want it and play intense, fast, strong, physical, but also like at the same time, you know how to play smart, know to make the right play, don't force things, but you got to just put it all out there and do whatever you can do to get the win.
Yeah, I would say, we mentioned it a little earlier. I believe it was Khalise about, how the teams may have played with each other growing up and whatnot from a young age. So I would say that connectedness aspect. So as far as, if you're coming down on a fast break, you might know that your teammate's already going to be close to the basket. So you could just throw the pass to them, a bounce pass or a regular chest pass or whatever. You could just get that to them before they even get to their position, because you just know they're going to be there. So that'd be key as well, to maybe get those quick extra points in a fast break and just get going on a roll and get the momentum going.
Yeah. Anybody else on that before we get out?
Going off what Cameron said, just like if they teams start off on a fast run, they'll be unstoppable. So that, and like Ryan said as well, like just going hard, like these are playoffs, like you want to win. Like if you guys come together, communication I think would be a good key. If something goes under pressure, like folds, just communicate about it and talk it out. But I think a lot of the older teams have good communication and good discipline. It's just I think the younger teams have to worry about all that stuff.
Yeah, and it'll be some players' first playoffs, I'm sure, and some teams who've been together a while, played in other, competitions, other tournaments. They'll be ready to go for the weekend. So, we're going to be crowning 7 division winners this weekend. We broke down as much as we could, and so, despite everything we just said, bottom line, right? Especially when it's one and done, is win, right? And so we'll see what 7 teams come out on top on Sunday. Guys, very good job on the post-game show, and we're looking forward to seeing who gets crowned a champion. So appreciate it. Thank you guys, and thanks everybody for watching.